So I'm gonna keep doing what I left off from before. I think I need a better camera in here. Do I have a render cam? Yeah, I do. So one thing, this is panel editor, okay? So if you have some tear off copy and somewhere in the window and you can't find it, usually it's named model panel 5, and you can go into panel editor and click on the panel. So for example, like this is a tear off panel, right? The hell? Oh, why is this happening? So there you go. Keep changes. Great, thank you. Alright, anyway. So here. This panel 5 and this is a tear off copy, right? So if you click this and hit delete, it will be gone. So if you're seeing it's dragging, always check panel editor, because I love tearing off windows. Okay, so for now I'm gonna tear off a perspective so I can work on it. Or in this case, maybe it's easier to work on the render cam. So I'm gonna go closer to the head. I'm gonna hide curves from here. Or if you wanna work on a follow cam, this is what you can do. I'm gonna create another camera. Call it follow cam. Group this. And then you want to constrain it to the body, COG for example. Constraint parent with offset. There you go. So now this camera 2, perspective 2, is gonna always follow his head, and I can animate it easier. Okay, show render cam in here. All right. I'm gonna look for some reference, because we talk about looking for some line reference, right? So one of the resources which is really good, gettyimages.ca. I'm gonna look for walking lion. There you go. Video. So this one is pretty stiff. We try to look for something that is more that has more movement. This is pretty good, this lion, even though it's a male and ours is female. So let's download this. Now, some animators, some students, they will say like, I want a stiff lion, right? But then when you actually animate, you don't want to animate some stiffness. Like if it's not moving, then it's not interesting, right? That's why when I look for video references, I always try to get something that is moving around more. Like this one is pretty good. Look at this. You can totally see the whisker moving around too. Look at that. This one's pretty good too. Now this one I'm not gonna pick it because he's not moving at all. This one is good. You don't have to match the speed when you look at the reference. You can just like take the motion and then adjust it with your own speed. Of course it has to be reasonable, right? Okay, so now I'm going to sing sketch. And I'm gonna look for the download in here. Cool. So this is the lion. See, his tongue actually wraps. You can tell the tongue, the outside of the tongue is curling out. Is this part here? It's curling out, and the tongue gets to around his nose. So he must have some watery thing coming out from his nose, and he wanna lick it. And then we can tell when he's closing his jaw, it's a little sideways in here. Let's watch it slow motion. Half speed. Let's watch it half speed here. There you go. Okay. The next one we have this guy. I like this more. Okay, then when we watch it in slow motion, we notice one side of his cheek is out like that. That's the shape we want. And when he's doing that, this eye is squinting a little bit too. So we'll say we want to find the most squash moment. So it'll be around here. I'm gonna make a mark. Okay, so there's the pose. And maybe he can start from here, right? Pose to pose. To pose. And then you see his whiskers coming up. It's less squashy. Squash it a little more. So when we actually animate this, we want to squash the eyes a little more too, so we make the whole shape a little more squashy on the face. And then this is where the stretch would be, right? So all these markers here is how I would take references, right? stretch. See, when we do that, we stretch. When I say stretch, we open the mouth, stretch out the whisker part. Try to stretch the facial below his eye, like this part. Try to stretch it a little more. Okay. And then there's a hold, and then it start coming in. See how this whisker is coming up there. Close his mouth, and then he does that again. Oh, this is pretty cute. He closes his eyes too, and then when I animate, I would actually look at the tongue, how it comes in, wraps to the right and down and in and close. So we call this like how I analyze the face for now. Let's go back to Maya. There you go. So my animation is only 60 frames. Do I have more? Nope. Okay, let's just animate 60 frames. So which part of the 60 frames I want to put in my animation? So if I start from around 21, maybe start from 13. I want this action to be there. Because if I want to put this part in, then I have to start from around 20. So maybe I start from 20. 20. Then it will end at 88. 20 plus 60, that's 80 frames. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll fit this part in. Okay, we can make this a little bigger. There you go. There you go. Alright, so right now, because I'm demonstrating, so I want to adjust the panel a little bit better so we can record the whole screen. Okay. So the first pose, we have him squashing his face a little bit. I can tell because the whisker is up. Let's see if we can do that in here. Let's take a look. Oh, there you go. Let's push it up a little bit. Now you guys want to pay attention at the render cam in here. What is this for? So we can use the panels, or we can use these actual controls. For me, I like using the actual controls. We can make it bigger, push it up. We can push it. Oh, this is the mouth control. Okay, so we can make it wider. Okay, and then what's this? Oh, cool. There, we're shaping it now. So we don't want to touch these little beard control. It's not necessary. Let's see what the nose does. There. Don't worry about the eyes. Let's look at what is this. What is this? sure. We can squash a little bit on the nose. Yeah, then we can squint the eyes a little bit. Now, because we don't want to hurt the animation on the whole body, I'm going to select the facials. And with the eye controls, go to my outliner. I'm going to isolate it, okay? Nope. I want to close it. Outliner. The eyelid. Oh, this is the eyebrows. So now we got the first shape. I think the first shape is okay. We can close it. We can make it more accurate. Look at the lip controls on the side. We can push it back. So it feels like there's some compression on the jaw, from the jaw, on the lip. Something like that. Let's close it a little more. Okay, so from what I'm seeing, I think we could push this out a little bit so we make it more compressed. Because if you make the shape fatter, wider, right, it feels more compressed. There you go. Close the lips on the side. So when I talk about compressing it, check out this control. You can make the lip compress like that, right? Roll it out, push it in. Or push the top one out like that, push it out, and then close the jaw a little more. There. Okay, so I want to show you before and after, okay? So this is good, set a key. I'm gonna remove all these ones because we don't need it. So this before, sorry, this is, so this is the shape before when it's in default. You see how it compressed a little bit. Sometimes you want to keep a frame 0. Sorry, you want to keep a default face so you know how much you have done to his face. So when I look at these two comparison, I can tell, okay, the face is compressed a little more, right? But then what can we do better, right? It looks like his nose is not affecting. It's not affected. His eyes is, right? This part of the face is all affected now. Looks good. You feel the jaw is like compressing on the, putting pressure on the whisker. That's good. So let's look at our reference in here. I wouldn't look at the nose. Yep, it's not doing anything. Okay, then let's move to the next part of the reference, which is open the jaw. As you can see, I have markers reminding myself where is the reference keyframes. There, that's the next one, right? When we compare, we want to compare like pose to pose on the videos, right? Pose to pose. And for this guy, it's more stretched out, so let's do that. Don't worry about the framing right now. Just like set it somewhere like 10 frames after, okay? And let's do that. Open the jaw. If you guys prefer, you can set it to 0. Wait a minute, where is this? Where is this face panel? I lost his face panel. Oh my god. Oh, it's right here. Of course, I zero it. Okay. Now I notice this jaw is a little difficult to work with, but let's just give it a try. What is this for, man? It doesn't do anything? That does that. What is this? Okay, that does that. Okay, let's try to make it wider. And then I'm gonna pull his lip down a little bit. Now when he's opening his jaw, we want to pull these kind of muscles down. The cheek muscle too. Look at this, right? Pull it down, pull it forward, just so it feels like it's affected by the jaw opening. Okay, let's animate his tongue too. Okay, he's holding it for a couple frames. Let's just do that too. But while he's holding, the moving hold he has done is so close to open. He's trying to close. So there's like, I'm watching his the upper lip part. Okay, let's hold it for 5 frames and then start closing. I'm watching the motion around here. I'm trying to observe if there's any squash and stretch, because when it comes from squash, you can see this squash, right? And it's stretch. There's a delay, so let's do that in here. You see how his lips going in? We don't want that. Cool. His tongue is definitely longer, so it doesn't stretch out. It seems like his tongue is rolling from behind and out, right? Do you agree? So in frame 32, we have to push his tongue longer to an angle we can't. We want to use our existing control and make it look as good as possible, right? So there. If there's crashing, just push it up. We want to just do it and then fix the small details later on. Find an angle so that we don't see the tongue is doing weird stuff from behind. There. Boom. Right? Because we can translate it, so why don't we just cheat it in here? Push it up. There. But then it's still covering his lower lip, so we have to follow. Boom. There. I think this is pretty close. Yep. So that's that. That's for frame 15. And then at frame 15 here, tongue is really long as the extent. So I'm gonna zero it out because, you know, I have to probably post this anyway. I'm gonna zero it out, push it really outward, stretch it out. You know, normally I would use the post-to-post method, but it seems to me there's just a zero out, so I just did it. Okay, let's see if we can scale this thing. We can scale it too, awesome. Oh, but it won't scale it like how I want it. That's the teeth. Oh, that's odd. Okay, there. So now our tongue is gonna be like, ooh. Okay, so let's add one in between in here. We can see the unroll of the tongue a little nicer. Okay, so there's a small part in here. The jaw is gonna close and the tongue is hitting the upper lip. And you can tell from the face here, stretch. Oh. We try to find somewhere we can pay attention. For example, like these lines over here. This is how I'm looking at, right? There's little spaced out in here. These lines become like that. It holds, so this is the most it holds, and then it starts coming in. You see, squashing. So this is how he's closing his mouth. So we should put that squashy whisker face control there too. Now there are 3 controls on the lips. I'm gonna move the main one a little less and the 2 side ones a little more. Because I'm looking this part as a piece of muscle, so once you push it up, you know you have to make it wider. So right now this is what I have. You see how I really squash it in here, right? Alright, this part here, you see I need to squash a little more because there's stretch. I can tell the length is pushed up, but it doesn't seem like it's coming out. It's not like, here, make it wider. Don't do that. What is this? What if I push it? There you go. A little wider. Okay, so the lion didn't squash his face that much, but we're gonna do it in this control. Sometimes if we can't see it because it's all gray right now and there's no texture, we can turn on wireframe to see if the grid is moving on his face. You see? Right, this hold in here, this shape doesn't change much. We want to maybe drag it out a little bit like that. With the grid, we see better, right? And then the nose probably have to go up a little bit. Right, you can see these lines, they're really compressing. Okay. There's some unnatural movement. I know it is odd to see it, but let's just do it anyway. A couple frames after. Is there any control? Can we roll this? Oh. We can roll it out like that. There you go. Cool. And then here comes the default pose. Let's just do that. This probably is going to crash on the rig, but let's try to push it, see what we can do. Right, I think one advantage of turning on the wireframe mode, because we can see how much is folding and we want to avoid crashing. You see when he's doing this movement here, the nose actually offset it too, so let's add a little bit of the nose movement. There. Right, see if we can rotate the nose a little bit. Maybe translate it over a little bit, don't break it, right? Just tiny bit. Now when I see this shape, this is what I see. This side is bigger, this side is smaller. And then when it comes down, this side, the left and right, they amount the same volume. So at frame 25, I want to push the other side a little lower. So it has there, and then we see the volume change. And then he's really squashing it now. We should, in this case, we should copy what we had from earlier. There's the squash. Just paste it there. This time it's just a little bit more. So we open the mouth and then we push the pose a little bit. Row. Push it up. Row. Not this guy. This guy here. Row. Push it out. I think it's time for me to save. If it crashes, I'm gonna cry. What should I call this? What cycle 02? This probably has nothing to do with what you're doing right now, right? I know, right? But this is how you read from a reference, just a different thing, but the method is the same.
That applies to like human faces, just in case.
Yes. When human faces like around these muscles, I would prepare a clip next time. What movie do you want me to look at?
Joker.
Sure. Yeah. We should do that. Yeah, we should do that. Okay, that's for next class. But let me finish this. So if we watch this closely, we feel like he's actually breathing out this moment. But let's just focus on this shape in here, okay? So I'm gonna push everything a little more to show the compression of the upper face. Whatever I can do, you know? Just as long as I don't break it. Too bad there's no control on the nostril, between the nostril and the eye. Okay, let's say that. Let's say this is good. That's the open mouth. Hold this a little more because I know there's going to be a hold. Push everything a little more. Again, because we're doing this, probably gonna be 0 out. He's stretching, so it's gonna pass default anyway. This is the extreme stretch of the mouth and tongue too. Okay, so I'm just trying to make it quick and see the result. So I'm gonna copy this pose at frame 10 to over here. I probably have to remove the keys on the tongue in here so the tongue can transit better. See, when I'm animating this kind of creature stuff, when you see something like this crashing, you want to just fix it in between. It doesn't matter if it's blocking or not. So we see the problem, we want to deal with it, right? And again, this tongue here is all straightened out. So let's copy this frame 15 over. And he's going to his right side, down and close. Let's see. Oh, we probably don't have enough room. Let's hit play, see what we have right now. You know what? I'm gonna animate him closing the mouth anyway. I'm gonna play blast this. Hopefully it looks good. I'm not expecting like very organic movement on the face. I try my best. It's just the first pass. And this is probably a good time to go through my animation and look at what I have to fix. Okay, so I think I will fix the jaw movement first because it's pretty organic. It's pretty mechanic around here, especially the second one. And then I gotta remove the head shake. Okay, let's do that. You see how the lion walks? He's tilting his head to his right a little bit, left. So I'm gonna do the same thing. There, that's pretty good. And then when he's opening his mouth, he is tilting he's twisting his head a little bit. You see there's tiny movement there. So let's try to keep that in our shot. That's good. You know that for now the most obvious shape we can see on his nose is the T shape from his nose. So we can use this as a measure because right now there's like maybe 5 degrees up to his left, and then this is tilting a little more, tilt more, and then down. So at frame 46, when he closes his mouth, there his head would be up like that, looking over, but not as much tilted like that. Okay, so this after tuning the head animation. Oh, thanks for watching, man. You don't have to copy everything, but because he's walking and I try to copy to show. When you work on your shot, you have to maybe copy the motion like what you guys did, but in a different camera angle, right? Just 60% there. I think I gotta tune the timing because let's watch it side by side. Obviously, I missed the last part because I don't have enough time. Oh, it's a little delayed. Come on, man. There. The head has to sway a little more there. Because mine is not doing that. There. There. I notice if we watch it from the nose, it draws a really nice arc. It's like down and up. Mine is not doing it down and up. And there's blinks I'm missing. Boom. 2, 1, 2, and then maybe a little bit to it. Maybe a little bit of a squint at the end. And then when he's opening his eyes, it's like you see that offset, like boom boom on his eyes. I'm not exaggerating, but watch this part here. You see this eye's closing first. I'm not lying, right? Close, and then when he opens, I feel like this eye opens first. So these are the small details we can pick up. So first, I'm going to tune the timing. Oh, the jaw too. Okay, so let's tune the head first. It's probably the neck too. That is why we can't get that motion right. Okay, let's animate his eyes because it's really bugging me. So his left eye, his right eye is offset at first, okay. And then he's closed. Okay. Now we'll blast this out. Let's see what we have. Let's do a close-up on the face. There. Like if we get better controls around the corner of the mouth, then we could do better. But I'm trying my best here, right? So I'm watching this frame count in here. When it hit around 60, I'm gonna hit play in here. That's my head motion is still not right. It's close. They're moving at the same time, but the nose is not drawing that arc. And there's the two bounces on the whisk on the cheek. I'm pretty close to it. What do you think? I think the head could bring up more movement, especially that part. It's probably the neck. The eye could do a little roll there. If you watch this, his left eye, see it opens a little more. Mine doesn't do that. And the squint could be there. Maybe I should animate his brows too, because it's really like closing hard. Okay, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna take 5 minutes break. I'm gonna keep going with the head. Let me get this head right, because this is embarrassing. So now I'm gonna use green. I'm gonna draw a line of his nose. Flat, flat. Oh, it's not tilting that way. And then it goes here. And then up. Up more. Back to normal. There, okay. Let's play with the ghost. So, see, my head comes down too early. It's tilting too early. It should come down first. shouldn't tilt in here. Alright, that's about right. And this head turn is really, it's not just turn, it's also it's not just a twist, it's also a turn like that. And then after that he goes up, show his mouth, a little more twisting. There, when we compare the Y on the nose, it's around the same. His eyes has to squint a little more over here. What else am I missing? Oh, I'm missing a tongue. Hang on, let me watch this again. Look at this. It's getting better. It's just the tongue. It's too much like popping out. And then when I watch it, like I can probably add a little bit of my own movement now. Every time when it squint, I probably want the nose to react a little bit. I mean, when you watch the nose, his head would tilt a little bit. Like it's pretty blank here, especially when he blinks. Like this part here is pretty blank. There's no movement. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's pretty close. And I'm gonna fix the tongue. This like overshoot, adding overshoot when you do your parkour sequence or acting, same theory. Right, I can just like add a little bit just to make it more alive. Oh, this is good. Like right here, set a key here, and then as he's opening, tilt the head up just tiny bit. So we do something like there, And then tilt the head up tiny bit to create the offset. There. No, maybe I don't need this offset, just delete it. Here, this part here needs some overshoot. And then I'm gonna fix the tongue too. To me, this is so much fun, right? Because I get to really spend time working on the details and try to make it look the best, you know. You see this part here? The tongue is like stopped. Okay, so I will set a key around here. Set a key here. Delete this. Delete that. I'll just add something to it because it flicks up too fast. Right, maybe have it touch one side first. Have it curl like that. Is it crashing it? No. No. Oh, it's crashing it. Damn it. It has to be perfect, you know. Usually, if the line curls in the tongue like this, I'm saying usually, this part would be a little higher, and the tongue would curl down like that. My arm is so sore. There's something popping. I don't like this because this is supposed to be getting inside. Let's give it, close it. See, I don't like how this part is out, the lower lip. See this part here, the tongue curls in like it's popping. You know when we do this animation, when you see something unnatural, it means you spotted something. So when we watch it, it has to be like flawless. At least like, okay, the movement doesn't pop or the reflection of the tongue is not so awkward, you know, because his tongue is what, in Fong shape, in Fong shader, right? It's so shiny. Look at this. Right, like this absolute straight. If you see this, you gotta. That's good. You gotta turn it, tilt it sideways a little bit. There, just to add something different to it, you know. I know in the reference the line doesn't show that, but when we do 3D, we want to do it that way. And then here, you don't mind to add a little more offset. And then here, what is this, man? Oh, I hit something, so I gotta zero this. What's this? Probably something like this. There, that's more natural. I'm gonna close his jaw a little sooner. Okay, I want to close the jaw sooner because I want to add one tiny key over here. The eye has to squint a little more. It's okay, right? I think it's okay. Hey, you gotta have his step a little more, man. It's too short. Can you go to the side view and then actually eyeball it, see where it takes off?
I will.
Yeah, you
I'll
should.
do it in like a cycle, and then I'm gonna apply some like
How many steps is he running before he jumps? Huh?
two for now.
Just don't do the cycle. Yeah, just fix it. I think the head needs more work. Like that part is still a little stiff. Like there, you see that nose stopped there. But other than that, it's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna play boss it one more time. I think that's pretty good. I will have to continue in the next round. Okay. Let me just blast this. So I wish there is a better control on the face. Pretty close, eh? The tongue could be better. I feel like the tongue, the first part here, is too straight down. You see the line is like more to the gravity. There. Everything is pretty close. The eye is pretty close. You see that moment like, that open up more? There. I try to do that too. Okay, cool. Let's wait for next round then.